Welcome to the house.
To the house of Holbein. Oh yeah. The house of Holbein.
A number more trips to the manor happen in the following weeks. On week 12, while the last party gather themselves through rest in the hamlet, Barry and Rownan take some of the uninitiated new arrivals to the Warrens as well, to explore them some more. The first of them is Cutie Una, a beautiful young lady whose charm is both as effective and as artificially manufactured as the poison in her throwing darts. Her expensive clothes tell a tale of a woman of wealth and high stature, but her presence in the hamlet speaks otherwise. The other is a bounty hunter armored head to toe, who has yet to say a word since their arrival. All that's really known about them is that their axe is sharp, and their blackjack hands are lucky. Without being given a spoken introduction or a name, the residents of the hamlet have taken to calling them Split Six. The human-swine hybrids are little match for this group of adventurers. On week 13, Norman Goodman leads another team out to the Weald to take out some bandits. And Cutie Una tags along for the fun this time as well, joining Simon Quicker and Spiral Artist. This expedition was also very successful, in no small part thanks to Una's keen eye and nimble fingers. Una's in good spirits as they set down to camp, even if her sense of humor may appear cruel to some. Cutie Una enjoys running her thumb over the collected jade gemstones on the walk back to the hamlet. On week 14, Norman Goodman takes the exact same team out to the Weald again, this time to confirm the rumors of a witch who's been despoiling the nature of the path here with her corruptive magics. A fair distance into the Weald, they set down for camp. Spiral Artist has another nightmare, but it's of little concern and quickly dispatched with the help of Norman Goodman. The Hag. The front two positions of this boss fight are occupied by the witch's cauldron. On a whim, she can attempt to throw any one of the heroes inside of it. Unless you're able to tip the pot and set them free, they'll take damage after every turn. Not round, turn. Spiral Artist fights to free Norman from the boiling mixture, while Una focuses her attacks on the hag herself.
The ground quakes. And now the true test.
Death's Door. When a hero reaches 0 HP, they no longer take damage. Instead, anytime they're attacked, they must make a Death's Door check. Una bleeding right now is a very big problem. It means that if it gets to her next turn when she takes that bleed damage, she has a 1/3 chance of dying permanently. Thankfully, she holds on long enough for Spiral Artist to deliver the final blow and slay the hag.
Alright, come on Simon, let's get you out of there.
You alright?
Yeah, I'm positively glowing.
The hag is dead. Hey guys, Silhouette Chimmaney here. Just wanted to jump in the video real quick to let you all know, on week 15, Cutie Una is pretty messed up about her near-death experience, so she spends the entire week in the quiet company of Spiral Artist, and seems somewhat panicked whenever they're separated even briefly. Kringle and Barry, meanwhile, are bedbound in the sanitarium's medical ward. It's a miserable place, but made more bearable by the shared company. With Kringle bound to his hospital bed, Hidden Atrocity spends the entire week by himself in meditation, avoiding the other residents of the hamlet as they near him. The original four head out to the Weald, to dispose of some bloated and diseased corpses spreading sickness and infection around the pathways to the hamlet. Someone or something has strung them up, and there are odd growths upon them, radiating a toxic miasma. I find a secret room! It's lots of money. They actually finish without the need for any combat, but decide to venture a bit further for greater riches and reward while they're all still healthy.
Well struck.
Along the way, they also run into a new enemy, a slavering ghoul. He has 40% prot, massively damaging attacks, and a gigantic health pool. They kill him before he gets a turn, but still, those guys suck. This crew is just mad good. If it was any other team, I'd have gotten smashed up. So I swear to God. A fight with bandits goes easily for them too.
Precision.
Ha! Thanks, Sally. Can't believe that worked.
They set up a quick camp, mostly just to unwind in an unusual period of calm. Dismas ensures the area is safe, Reynold gives another short speech to his group of new friends and allies, and Sally Grimm uses some leeches on Dismas. He sits there and takes it. Their work has temporarily cleared the way of the Weald, allowing for easier travel for now. The first new stagecoach arrives, bringing with it a musketeer and an antiquarian named Cora. Because of the blockages in the Weald, which have since been cleared, they had to camp a few days on the journey here, and had time to get to know each other.
Hey, are you the bounty hunter I worked with in Tunburn, or do you just shop at the same helmet store? You are the same bounty hunter I worked with in Tunburn. Where are you lot headed?
We're gonna go deal with some bandits along the old road.
Then I caught you just in time. I did some midnight scouting during the carriage ride here. You'll want to take me with you. It's not just some bandits you'll be dealing with. They've got their hands on some pretty heavy armaments.
Hey, split 6. She any good with that musket?
Field medic too.
Alright, sure, you can take along. What's your name?
Praxia Snow.
Nice to meet you. I'm Barry, and this is...
This group is a bit underleveled for the coming boss fight, and Barry is still quite sick, because, I mean, come on, at this point, this is kind of a thing, this is just what he does now. Praxia Snow is actually level 0, which means she can have no ability, armor, or weapon upgrades, and also takes way more stress on missions. But I go for it anyway, with some careful picking of trinkets, camping skills, and the buffs from the last run. This, right here, is one of my favorite team compositions in the entire game. It is so much fun. Everyone here is based around marking. Now, the thing about the Musketeer is, they're not good, but they're so much fun. The damage they do is like nothing if the enemy isn't marked. And because of her reliance on marking, the team sort of has to be based around her or it won't work. And even when the team is based around marking, it normally doesn't work that well except against bosses, because taking the turn to mark and then shooting on the next turn is sort of a waste when you could have just attacked on both turns with any other hero. But with all of that said, it is so much fun to play this hero. That's all you need. That's what I'm here for, alright? This is so cool. This team works especially well in the Warrens and the Weald both, because the Bounty Hunter has bonus damage versus humans on their main attack, and the Houndmaster has the same thing against beast enemies. If you can get the Mankind Hater quirk on a Bounty Hunter, it is absurd what they can do, given how many human enemies are in this game. Now, even with everything I just said true, Praxia Snow isn't that bad. And when it comes to camping skills, she's one of the best. Having a backup healer is also never a bad thing, in case the turn order gets screwed or your main healer is stunned. The team works together like a well-oiled machine all the way up to the room before the boss. They set up camp and spend the night preparing for the coming battle. The intel Praxia Snow gathered from her prior scouting on the way to the hamlet proves very useful.
A powerful blow.
The cannon. It can't fire unless it's lit, and the lighter has speed minus 20, but only a 25% stun resist. He's replaced at the top of each round he's dead in, so it's not as easy as just killing him. If the cannon fires, it hits all of your heroes for massive damage. Luckily, it never gets the chance. Praxia Snow finishes the cannon off with a crit. Her perfectly aimed musket ball flies inside of it, sparking the dormant gunpowder and blowing both the cannon and the surrounding bandits to smithereens. The mission is a success, and the party is left with all high health and low stress. God, I love this team. They return to the hamlet and have a celebratory round together. Praxia Snow telling stories of the job her and Split Six worked together in the past. Split Six still doesn't say anything, but they smile with their shoulders the entire night. On week 17, the same group heads out to the Weald again, high off the back of their recent resounding victory and hoping to capitalize on the sudden lack of bandit leadership by slaying whatever else they come across. Also, plus 15% healing charm available if I beat this mission, and in case you were wondering, I did not forget to update you. This will be my first healing trinket of the run. Holy god. Now that Praxia Snow is level 1 and they're not fighting a boss, I can be a bit more stingy with the supplies, even if Barry is still suffering a couple of illnesses. So the group's back in the Weald again, and they do pretty much as you would expect them to do, and slam jam. Praxia Snow's damage is much better now that she's at level 1 and her abilities and weapons are upgraded. Split Six is still Split Six, which is to say, a scary enemy, and Greem's teeth are as sharp as ever. I cannot wait to get some good crit chance trinkets on Praxia Snow. In one fight, Split Six is pushed back, but it doesn't matter because all of their abilities work from row 3. For example, this hook, which pulls and marks the enemy Enchantress and forces the brawlers to stumbling scratch for less damage, just to end up back where they started. I love bounty hunters. Now, I can't spend this long going over everything in detail, or we'll be here for days, but let me gush over how cool and fun this team composition is, alright? And besides, I think it's important to show off at least one team composition that works really well together, apart from the one they give you at the start of the game. Also, another secret room. It took them long enough. On my way to it, Barry investigates a grave and gets another disease. Ooh. This secret room has one of the 3 head trinkets. This one is Dismas's head, which has a massive damage increase. The 3 head trinkets are very good early game, though later game the plus 25% stress really makes them almost unusable. Hopefully I can pick up juniors somewhere before my heroes get too leveled to use it well. The game's difficulty increases way faster than your hero's ability does. You don't want to let yourself get too confident in these early dungeons and carry those bad habits over to the harder ones. Oh my god, it's the Collector! A mini-boss! Oh god, a random mini-boss! Oh no, it's a mini-boss! What do I do? Oh, he's dead! We good. This is the guy who's taking people's heads, by the way, and I get the second one for my troubles. Honestly though, look at that low stress. I haven't even camped yet, and I'm so deep in. These guys are just the absolute best. Oh my god, Barry investigates another grave and gets the Red Plague. Stop it, Barry! You won't find God anywhere near the manor, so stop checking! Well, whatever. They kill some more guys and then set up camp before the final room. Praxia Snow does her combat medic thing, Raunin makes a deal with Satan to not have us get woken up early, and Greem lets everyone give Amir scritches. The end of the quest offers little to slow the well-oiled machine, and they succeed, returning with the first healing trinket. Woo! With the end of this quest, Barry advances to the veteran level bracket, meaning I won't be able to use this team altogether until the others are there too. I was totally about to, though. Look, they're not even stressed. 1 cannon and a collector in. Ah, well, it gives Barry a chance to visit the hospital again, I guess, and he got vertigo on the way back, by the way, another disease. Back at the hamlet, with Barry admitted into the bed that they pretty much just keep spare for him at this point, Yuna's feeling a bit better after her near brush with death a few weeks back. She's still a bit anxious whenever Spiral Artist isn't around, but she's acting all superior again, so she's at least somewhat back to normal. Split Six and Praxia Snow have really hit it off after meeting up again, so they head out for the next mission once more in the company of Raunin. Taking Barry's usual place is Cora, the antiquarian who arrived on the same stagecoach as Praxia Snow and built something of an acquaintanceship with her. On week 18, these 4 head to the Cove together, an area that we've not explored yet, with a nice grave robber trinket up for grabs. Supplies are free this week, so I clear them out of stock. Antiquarians have abilities to do some minor healing and fairly good team buffs. as well as weak attacks that are best suited for finishing off low health enemies so that your heavy hitters can focus elsewhere. But an antiquarian's main appeal is that they increase the stack size of gold while in your party, and allow for you to find old antiques worth a lot of gold that all stack super high. Basically, you take an antiquarian if you're feeling confident and want to make some extra cash. Also, pro tip, if you run into any of this eerie coral in the cove, you can hit it with some medicinal herbs to purge a negative quirk for free. As expected, the work is completed with little trouble, and they return with the news of the odd fish people and myriad shipwrecks which infest the area. Bounty Hunter Musketeer synergy is not to be underestimated. Also, healing trinket. Woo! Back at the hamlet, Barry got all of his diseases removed in one go, because the sanitarium took on extra staff specifically for him. Another expedition is again taken on week 19, the first outing of a frontline Vestal named Andrea Singh, as I go about leveling up more of my heroes to veteran and clearing the way to more bosses. You'd be surprised how well a Vestal can do as a damage dealer when you let her be one. This one is currently at level 0 with no upgrades, and you can still sort of see it, comparing her to the early level Dismas and Reynold, if you remember. As a frontline Vestal, her only heal is the group heal, but that's the best choice most of the time anyway, so it's usually fine. Just don't get so caught up in the fighting that you forget to use it. Remember, healing is a game of catch-up, a little bit of poor management, and might be worth bringing some spare food the first couple times you plan to play Vestal like this until you get used to it. For how good their buffs are, Jesters have some pretty high bleeds, by the way. And Kringle's finally starting to get to a spot where his finales really pack a punch.
Decimated. Annihilated.
Cora isn't that bad either. When they set down to camp, Kringle bonds with Split Six a bit and calms their nerves. The bounty hunter has a newfound respect for the clown's combat ability, and the courage which belies what may at first appear as brash carelessness, even if they don't express such respect through the use of any words. The party returns to the hamlet mostly unscathed, despite the single controlled close call, carrying with them sacks filled with antiquarian bank! On week 20, the crew return to the ruins on the first long journey. This means they get to camp twice, with a map size and combat frequency to match. This is not only a long mission, but a veteran level mission, which means the team really needs to focus up and make sure they don't fall into the worst strategies that can still pass for acceptable in earlier dungeons. I actually physically slapped my own face to achieve this. I mean it. I wrote down a note about it. I'm reading the note right now. You'll also notice enemies from here on out resisting your status effects a lot more often. Which, quick side note, percentages in Darkest Dungeon are additive and subtractive, not accumulative. So, if your ability has a 120% chance to stun, and your trinket boosts it by 10% against an enemy's 60% resistance, you don't need to worry about what order any of that is done in. The chance is just 120 plus 10 minus 60, for a stun chance of 70%. I'll remind you again, because it's important, your goal should always be leaving each battle in the best possible state. And oftentimes that means limiting the number of turns your enemies get to take through killing and stunning. So, don't go spreading your damage to make sure your 18 damage sword swing gets felt to its fullest instead of finishing off a 2 HP guy. On long quests, you'll also find that you'll have to leave behind much more stuff. That's normal and upsetting, but required. There are only so many inventory slots. And, once more, remember, camping is to prevent death and affliction, not to remedy it. Not only because by the time you need to, it's already too late, and afflicted heroes camping will sometimes just make things worse, but also because there's no point walking around with 2 big campfires that you won't use taking up space in your inventory. The party finds a jute tapestry, which is worth a lot of money, and a damn good Plague Doctor trinket. Anyway, at this point, with my focus up, the battles aren't causing too much trouble, and I'm pretty far through when
The Collector!
This time, I don't get a chance to stun him early, and I actually have to fight him as intended. The Collector is a mini-boss that can randomly replace any non-boss fight. and has a higher chance to spawn the more full your inventory is with treasures. In short, he's after the Duke. These heads he summons do a bunch of different things, but that collected Vestal can heal him, which I'm super not keen on. Thankfully, his blight resistance isn't massive, and with that trinket we picked up earlier, it may as well not exist at the moment. I'm able to kill enough of his collection to get him to the front, where Reynold can pommel stun him to stop him from summoning more goons. After the stun wears off, with his accumulated bleed and blight, he's already dead. He'll be on 0 HP at the top of his next turn. So, jute tightly grasped, Sally Grimm and Naomi take some time to repair a bit of the damage he dealt. As he fades into the ether once more, he leaves behind a gemstone of great value. But not nearly as great as the jute tapestry, oh yeah! We take second camp in the room after that. Sally does more weird experimental stuff on Dismas, and the rest of the quest goes without a hitch. This crew is fantastic. They return to the hamlet, carrying barrows worth of heirlooms in good spirits. Their stress is almost as low as when they came in. There's an uproar in the hamlet as the party gets back. Dismas pulls Kringle aside to figure out what's going on.
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, you know Andrea? Andrea Singh, the new girl?
Yeah?
Pollock says we're burning her. Alive.
What? Why?
Witchcraft and shiz, isn't it?
Hold on a second.
And with this holy fire, this
Pollock.
witch will be...
Pollock!
I'm in the middle of something. Hold on a second.
Untie the Vestal.
No! She's a witch!
Pollock, untie her, or I'm gonna tell the sanitarium you've got a fever.
No, they won't let me donate blood if you do that.
So untie her.
But she's a witch.
If you're calling her a witch, then why isn't Rownan on a pyre too?
She uses magics. It's unscientific. Tell him, Sally.
I'm untying her.
No.
This week at the hamlet, Norman Goodman will be holding lessons in self-defense against the monstrosities of the manor, meaning he'll gain a full level so long as I don't assign him to any quest or activity in the hamlet. With the money and heirlooms gathered in the last outing, I'm also able to upgrade the blacksmith to increase armor level even higher. The crew, naturally, are the first to receive. And well-timed, too. Other smaller scale expeditions to the ruins in the 3 days that the crew was gone for have uncovered something. Another necromancer. Could slaying this necromancer finally end the curse of undead through the manor's ruins, for good? There's only one way, and one team, to find out. Wearing clothes fresh out of the smithery and the best trinkets to the hamlet's name, off the back of the largest venture undergone to date, the crew heads out once more, in search of this rumored necromancer, on week 21. The party tears through the gargoyles and undead of the ruins, rejuvenated by the promise of slaying a new source of these atrocities. They're careful all the while to not make a mistake, however. One false step in these ruins, and the journey may be doomed before it can be seen outright. They have an early camp in preparation for the battle. Dismas cleaning his guns as usual and being blessed by Naomi, while Sally Grimm experiments on herself.
Alright, we've done this before, it'll be the exact same here. Sally and I will focus the necromancer while Reynold clears the undead. Everybody got it?
Got it.
Let's go.
During the fight, lots happens. Dismas's pistol does work on the necromancer, and Sally Grimm gets dangerously close to death quite a lot. A big crit lands on Reynold and Dismas, but it's not enough to stop them, and Dismas shoots the necromancer dead. The party takes a moment to stand around and collect their breath.
You alright, Sally?
I'm good. Naomi helped.
Hopefully that's the end of this all, then. Or at least the end of this being so much. They return to the hamlet, and with this victory, we have our first champion-level heroes. The four enjoy some time of much-earned, much-needed rest together for now, managing the various events and new arrivals around the hamlet. They were already underleveled going into that when it comes to abilities and gear and healing trinkets. Please give me a better one than 15%, there are so many of them. Until I have a training guild and blacksmith upgraded to match their champion level, and more specifically the level of the enemies they'll next be facing, they're gonna sit out for a while and enjoy themselves. Seriously though, look at that. Barely a scratch of stress on them. Top blokes. The stagecoach finally gets an upgrade to bring in some more experienced recruits. Some of those on board from now on will arrive pre-leveled, gear and abilities and all. Which basically also means that my current level 0 heroes that you've never ever seen are probably going to be dismissed. Say goodbye, you didn't know them. And if you think that the main crew sitting out until we're ready for champion level dungeons means we're on Easy Street for a while, ha! That's not even truth adjacent. The very next week, week 22, a team heads out to the warrens beneath the manor to slay the Swine Prince, who commands a large portion of the pig-human abominations. Pollock, Kringle, Andrea Singh, and Praxia Snow. Praxia is there to make sure Andrea comes back without having been burned alive by Pollock. Kringle is there to observe.